Some people are naturally good at finding the gist of a written piece. And the people we find with the most talent for this tend to be dyslexic. That's right. If you're like me and 10% of the population thought to have this disorder, congratulations. You are naturally equipped to quickly get the gist of written works. Merriam-Webster defines gist as the main point or part. It's the essence. It's what the author spent all that time and all those words trying to deliver to you. Being able to get the gist allows you to read more efficiently and more effectively. It allows you to read with purpose. Most people read by looking at every word, every sentence, every paragraph as its own independent piece. This is the equivalent of listening to an orchestra play and trying to isolate every note of each instrument independent of one another. Not only is this a very inefficient way to listen to music, it also misses the point of what the composer and the conductor are trying to deliver to you. They wanted you to get the gist, the moment, the mood, the message of the music. Such is the case in reading. If you concentrate too heavily on each piece in isolation, you can easily miss the message the author was trying to portray. Getting the gist guides you through the process of reading. It allows you to put together the pieces of the puzzle the author is weaving for you. It allows you to stay with the author for the entire piece, eliminating the need to go back and reread information. It helps you place the author's work not only in short-term but long-term memory by more quickly linking it to other information you're familiar with. It even allows you to compare and contrast with other information you've encountered in the past, having a proper dialogue with the piece while reading through it. It takes you from simply reading a piece to engaging with the author and making the time taken to read more worthwhile. Gist puts you in the proper frame of mind to read the piece as intended. Have you ever had a conversation with someone simply to look up and think, "What the heck are you talking about?" Yeah, reading for the gist helps that not happen so often. You will be much more properly grounded in the conversation your mind is having with the author, increasing your reading efficiency and reading comprehension significantly. There really is nothing worse than reading a chapter in a book, then realizing you have to read it again because you didn't get the point. And when you're taking a timed test, from a CLEP exam to the SAT to a final exam, you don't have the option of having to reread passages. You have to get the point the first time you read through a passage. So, now you know what gist is, and you're convinced you want to get good at finding it. How do we help that happen? I'm going to give you 4 steps to improving your reading and helping you quickly and efficiently find the gist of a piece of writing, no matter if it's a paragraph, a blog, a chapter in a book, or an entire textbook. The first step in improving your speed when getting the gist is whenever you're reading a piece, no matter the length, you should always be asking yourself, what is the point? What is the author trying to say? Is the author's message making sense? As you move through the piece, keep asking yourself if the author is making the same point, or has the author switched focus. This point should lead you to the thesis statement of the writing. If the thesis is not explicit, try to figure out how you would define it yourself. The second step is foreshadowing, where you try to guess where the author is going with the piece. Once you think you have the gist, think about what's the next thing the author would do to prove their point. Now, you don't have to be right. This isn't about being able to always know exactly what somebody's going to say next. The purpose of this is to allow you to think while you're reading through the piece and think about a natural flow for information. If the author goes a different way, that's fine. Go with them, but go back to asking yourself, what are they trying to say? A third step in training yourself to understand the gist of a piece is to imagine how you would explain the piece to others who haven't read it for themselves. How would you describe the piece if you had half the space the author took in the original writing? Now, how would you describe it using a third of the space? Next, go for a quarter of the space. Your next challenge is to describe the piece in 4 sentences. Your final challenge is Describe the piece in one sentence. The fourth and final step in the process is critique and evaluation. As you look at what the author seemed to be trying to say, were they successful in saying it? How could they have been more clear in their point? Were they concise enough, or did they actually need more depth? How did the gist match their thesis statement, if they had one? The better you get at figuring out the gist of the writing of others, the better you will become in your own writing. Getting better at figuring out the gist will also improve your reading speed and reading comprehension. This is a skill that will help you in fields beyond English composition and assist you in reading information from a variety of sources. Since the more you practice, the better you get, challenge yourself. The best area of challenge is to read works you are unfamiliar with or are very new to you. You can properly find the gist in pieces that you haven't encountered before. That can be confirmed by reading abstracts and publisher notes. Congratulations, you're getting it. You have developed the skill to a point where it will be useful to you throughout your studies, no matter where they may take you. Now to recap, the gist is the essence of the author's work. Being able to properly determine the gist of a work quickly will greatly improve your reading speed, efficiency, and comprehension, as well as your own writing. There are 4 steps outlined in this video to help you increase your skill in finding the gist of a written piece. The first step is to always ask yourself, what is the point when reading through a work? The second step is to try and predict where the author will go next in their writing. Then confirm if you were right or not. The third step is to see if you can summarize the gist of an article using a half, 1/3, 1/4 of the space used by the author. Next, try to explain it using 4 sentences. And finally, can you explain the essence of the piece using just 1 sentence? The fourth and final step is to evaluate just how well the author did in providing a piece where the gist could be discovered and learned quickly and efficiently. Challenge yourself by following these steps using writings you are unfamiliar with. Remember, writing should flow like a beautiful musical orchestra piece. You should be able to quickly determine the tone, the flow, the mood of the piece as it helps guide you through the interacting parts.